Do you have $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Maybe you're even barely getting by making minimum payments. With credit card debt hitting record highs, National Debt Relief offers real debt relief solutions for people struggling to keep up. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy, and you may be able to pay back less than you owe, regardless of your credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe 10, 20, or even hundreds of thousands of dollars in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living increases. To find out how much you could save, visit nationaldebtrelief.com. That's nationaldebtrelief.com.
I'm Tad Flakey.
I'm Lilibet Flakey.
And this is Pointless Global News. On today's show, a Chinese automaker has patented an in-the-car toilet, making carpooling much more challenging.
Then I'll tell you about a 40-pound beaver stealing wood from a store in Canada.
Next, some of the weirdest incidents involving farts, because I have the comic sense of a 12-year-old boy. That story later. But first, having to pee or poop during a long road trip is now no longer a pain in the ass, because Chinese electric vehicle engineers are gearing up to roll out a fleet of cars featuring built-in toilets. Series, a automotive manufacturer specializing in high-end electric vehicles and intelligent technology, has been granted a patent for an in-the-vehicle toilet that slides from under the passenger seat for mid-trip use, and I believe that means that you could actually use it while the car is in motion. The feature is meant to satisfy users' toilet needs on long journeys, while camping or while staying in the car, per the patent series filed with the China National Intellectual Property Administration this week. And as if the ability to relieve yourself while on the run isn't cool enough, the car makers reportedly plan to equip potties to appear with either the push of a button or through voice-activated commands. I can hear it now. Alexa, I need to take a dump. Yeah, maybe not. But who knows? It sounds very interesting. And for when nature calls, this technology will answer, literally. To limit odors, the in-car commode will come with a fan and an exhaust pipe implemented to funnel funky smells out of the automobile, per the patent paperwork. Waste will be collected in a tank that has to be emptied manually. The toilet to go will also boast a rotating heating element that evaporates urine and dries excrement, begging the question, how's that working out for you? Well, when not in use, the toilet will be concealed beneath the passenger seat, making full use of the space inside a car without requiring excess room. Series, which is based in Chongqing, has not announced an official release of the vehicles with the onboard bathroom. It's unclear if the cars boasting this luxe lavatory will ever actually hit the Chinese electric vehicle market. I can imagine a game of rock, paper, scissors will be needed to get someone to empty that waste tank manually. Yuck.
Well, it does sound like that could be a convenience, but it also sounds like it could be a slightly embarrassing situation because how do you get rid of the sounds?
Well, supposedly there's a plastic partition that would actually roll up and down to separate the passenger from the driver, and that would probably help eliminate both the sound and the emissions problem. So it's all a work in progress, I imagine.
I don't know if it would completely get rid of the sounds. What about the people in the back seat? They need to have a little self-contained compartment. But anyway, we'll have to wait and see.
I'm thinking the cone of silence from Get Smart many years ago.
Absolutely. That's what you would need.
Yeah.
The Royal Canadian Mounted Police, or RCMP, in Hanna, Alberta, responded to a trespassing call at a Friesen Brothers grocery store on the evening of April 8th. The caller reported that a suspect had entered the business through the automatic doors, appearing disoriented and was refusing to leave at closing. The subject was wearing all brown, stood approximately 2 feet tall, weighed 40 pounds, and was a beaver. Surveillance footage, which police have since released in lieu of a composite sketch, shows the suspect entering through the store's automatic doors with what officers characterize as purpose, but no clear plan. Investigators believe the beaver may have been attempting to steal firewood displayed near the entrance for use in residential construction, though a motive has not been officially confirmed. The responding officer deployed the de-escalation tactics. After what RCMP described as much coaxing and no use of force, the subject was ushered from the premises. No arrest was made. The subject's identity has not been confirmed, which probably means we'll never know which beaver this was. Hannah, population 2,600, was previously best known as the hometown of Nickelback, a distinction the town celebrated with highway welcome signs until 2023, when apparently they realized Nickelback sucks. The beaver incident is now the most notable event in Hannah's recent law enforcement history, and also the most Canadian sentence ever committed to a police blotter. The national animal was de-escalated inside a grocery store by a Mountie while attempting a lumber crime. This is not the first time Canadian beavers have been implicated in organized wood theft. In 2021, Saskatchewan RCMP traced a cache of stolen fence posts to a beaver dam in Porcupine Plain, where the materials had already been incorporated into the structure. No charges were filed because the suspects had eaten the evidence and also because they were beavers. The species now has documented incidents in at least 2 provinces, which the RCMP has not characterized as a pattern, at least not yet. The suspect has not been seen in Hannah since. Police describe him as not considered armed and dangerous, although his tail was pretty big, which remains the most restrained threat assessment in the Royal Canadian Mounted Police history. The investigation is classified as open but inactive, pending the suspect's voluntary surrender or a second attempt at grand theft firewood. I like beavers. I think if there's wood available to them, they should be able to take it and have access to it. And Ted, I told you I saw some beavers last spring and summer.
I'm still waiting to see them.
I haven't seen any evidence of them so far. They haven't been chewing on any trees. Maybe they've left, or maybe they're going to become more active as the spring rolls into summer. We'll see.
Yeah, they'll probably get more active, especially after the weather gets a little bit warmer. They're very industrious animals. Finally, farts are inherently funny. No matter how highbrow you may be, you have to admit, at one point or another, you've giggled because someone let one rip. But not every air biscuit is a laughing matter. In several cases, passing gas has resulted in more or less serious consequences. It has caused public condemnation, gotten somebody arrested, or even cost thousands of lives. Here are but 3 of some of those incidents that began with a fart. Number 1, this is back in 2023, not 1923. 2023, a couple boarded a Singapore Airlines flight from Paris to Singapore, and they brought their dog with them. It was small enough that the airline allowed it in the cabin. The other passengers, however, weren't as enthusiastic about the pooch. Not only did it snore extremely loudly and drool profusely, but there was also obviously something very wrong with the poor pup's tummy. It simply couldn't stop farting, and each interruption smelled worse than the last. As we all know, there's no gas quite like dog gas. By the end of the trip, some passengers were so upset that they demanded refunds from the airline for allowing the stinky dog on board. Number 2, then there was a bizarre policing scandal in Germany's capital of Berlin between 2016 and 2017. It all began in February 2016 when the police went to arrest people throwing an illegal public party. One of the arrestees, who was potentially intoxicated, didn't take kindly to the cops asking for his ID. In response, he passed gas twice, making sure they were nice and loud. Incensed, the police slapped him with a $1,000 fine. The thing is, they waited 12 months after the incident before sending the bill to the man. Refusing to pay, the man was summoned to court, where a judge dismissed the case as frivolous in less than 10 minutes. The incident caused a widespread debate in Berlin about the city police department's behavior and waste of public resources. Our third and final farting incident involves the time-honored prank of giving someone the Dutch oven treatment. However, enclosing somebody within fart-filled blankets can have serious consequences, as was the case from 2022 proves. After her now ex-boyfriend, Dutch oven Christine Connell, she started experiencing bizarre health problems. Over the next 7 years, she battled constant sinus infections. Finally, a sinus swab revealed the cause. Her sinuses were the home to a stubborn population of E. coli bacteria. In case you're unaware, E. coli is an oh-so-delightful bug living in fecal matter that can cause serious illness. The bacteria had gotten into her sinuses as a result of the fart prank from years ago. Connell ended up needing general anesthesia so the doctors could get all up in her sinuses and scrape off the bacterial colony.
Well, see, you shouldn't be going around giving people Dutch ovens because if you can smell it, part of it is not only in the back of your nose, but it's also potentially in your mouth and throat as well.
It sounds hilarious until you're the victim of it.
Exactly.
No fun there. Okay, well, that's a wrap for another Pointless Global News. Be sure to follow us wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Tad Flakey.
I'm Lilibet Flakey.
Stay pointless, my friend.